You're listening to the Ballet Piano Podcast, lifting the lid on dance accompaniment.
Hello, podcast fans, and welcome back. You are listening now to the second episode of The 10 Commandments. Ooh. It starts off big and it gets bigger. My name is Chris Hobson, and to my left is my beautiful, gorgeous colleague and wife, Akiko Hobson.
Why does it always have to be clockwise?
Okay. Anti-clockwise is Mr. Matt Gregory.
Hello, listeners.
To Matt's right is David Yow.
Hello.
And to David's right is...
Hello, everybody.
Never knowingly understated, a bit like Selfridges. Yeah. Never knowingly building up my part. like the panto queen that you really are. I love my stilettos when I walk in. Here we go.
I think
Marriage.
I think that's the first bit. You can put a drop in there. That was long enough.
Next up, therapy. After that, Tinder. Anyway. That's not how I expected this introduction to go. I'll be completely honest with you. God, I need more Asahi. Right. We're back. So we've got part 2 of the 10 Commandments. And this time it's been curated by myself, the woman to my left, and Matt Gregory. Let's go in. No introduction needed.
No introduction needed. The first commandment is, thou shalt not run over time. I won't do the voice every time. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Right. We had this conversation in a school in the Western Hemisphere staff room a few weeks ago, and we said, how much time do you allow before you start? And I said, I allow 3.5 minutes because I'm never on time. Look at you smiling. Yeah, man.
That's another thing.
I know.
Thou shalt start on time.
I allow about 3.5 minutes because I know that I'm usually about a minute late. It's like a couple of minutes grace.
Yeah. You shouldn't start a new exercise at the end of class.
Exactly.
And I know some teachers that do that. Yeah. And that's going to take at least 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes. Because they're starting something new on the end of class.
Or if you do it, and you go, okay, and then we go, and just from the second side, but only one time.
Yeah. I don't mind going over
like a walk.
I don't mind going over a minute if they're finishing Grand Allegro on the second side or something.
Especially when you are like desperate for the loop. And you're counting down a second and I'm finished the other side.
I mean, like if you work at a vocational school, sometimes your schedule can be quite a tricky balancing act, and you can go from like sometimes class to class. Yeah.
Well, that's happening to me next week, isn't it? The school at the Western Hemisphere. My class finishes at the same time as my second one starts.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, and I hate like this feeling that, so like first class run over, and then because second class is back to back, we walk into the studio being late.
Yeah.
And then people are looking at you.
That happens at the open classes as well, because they used to go back to back.
Yeah.
Some of them have 15 minutes in between. Right. But then you realistically would start 5 minutes in anyway because of that crossover, and then teachers just go over.
So I try to preface that now at the Western Hemisphere school. It's like I'll let the teacher know. It's like, look, I've ended up back to back on this one. There's no way around it. So I'm going to be late. I need to go to the bathroom in between, or I just need to fill up my water bottle. So...
I might even say next week, look, start setting the first exercise and I'll be there by the time you go and. You know what I mean? Like a minute in.
Yeah. When the record button goes off, let me know what you're playing for and I'll tell you what they're going to
do. Okay, number 2. Thou shalt use your voice as much as possible.
We've said this before, haven't we?
Yeah.
So important.
Just using your voice,
sing.
For the tempo, the flavour, the character of what rhythm you want.
Yeah.
If you're an experienced ballet pianist, you could technically do this job blind if you've got a good teacher with you.
Yeah.
If you've got a teacher that's explaining everything and using the voice in the correct way with the correct accents, you could technically do it.
Yeah.
Because any voice the teacher produces is a clue for us.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I don't know how much that's taught on teaching courses, the
Not enough.
use of the voice.
Not enough.
Because who was it? Laurie says actually when he teaches, he's not frightened to make a fool of himself with his voice.
Yeah.
You know, as with all the accent and
Yeah.
the colour and all, and that it really informs us
Yeah.
massively.
Yes. Yeah, I
So
totally
yeah,
agree.
really use your voice.
Mm.
Yep.
Number 3, thou shalt trust your pianist implicitly. Was this one of yours?
Probably, unless the pianist is crap. No, only joking.
Can you expand on that, Chris?
Unless the pianist is me. I think for that, like, maybe if a teacher's got an idea of what you want, so say you're going to, I don't know, like, the easiest one is a centotondo. You possibly going to get a swingy 4/4, like, and out, and in, and da. But then the pianist will go 3, ba, ba, da, da. Just give something. So the rhythm's the same, the structures of it, and the flavour of it, and the style is slightly different, but the pianist is going to, 9 times out of 10, if they're an experienced pianist, they're going to be able to bring something to the exercise that they've seen
Yeah.
that you maybe wouldn't have expected as a teacher.
Yeah.
Also,
And that comes from, I guess, being experienced.
yeah.
And you said this before in a previous episode, David. If you know from the minute that a pianist puts their hands on the keyboard whether you can trust them for the
Yeah.
next hour and a half,
Yeah.
Yes.
or whether you're going to have to help them and guide them.
Mhm.
And I guess you can trust pianists more depending on experience. And I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I will change up my rhythm, but the meter's the same.
Exactly.
I'll change up the feel,
Yeah.
like drastically.
Start a centotondo, like say start with Broadway Baby, because that's my
Yeah.
go-to. You know, ba-da, ba-da, dun, dun, dun. Shake it, Matt. And then, like, say if it's 3 groups, go into the Ascot Gavotte. Ya da dun 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 dun. Third group, yum bum ba da,
Yeah.
ba da da da. And it's a different flavour for
Yeah,
each group.
Yeah, but the tempo, the meter
And
is
it's
the
there,
same.
and then
Yeah.
and then you can mix it up. Then we can, okay, right, we're going to do it again, and then you mix up the different flavors and the different styles for each side. So each group gets something different from each.
Yeah.
Trust us.
Oh, this might go hand in hand with things we've already talked about. Number 4, thou wilt communicate as much as possible.
Yes.
It's all about communication,
is,
isn't it?
Totally.
Goes back to the introductions and the endings episode, doesn't it? Let us know if this is the extra 8. Don't just assume.
Yeah, I think if there's no communication, then the class will just crumble because you're both trying to read each other,
Yeah.
you know. And if you can't do that successfully, you don't know what you're going to get from each other. You don't know what you want from each other.
Yeah.
You know.
But that communication isn't just for the musician, though. It also goes hand in hand for the dancers as well, does it? Because the dancers
whole
are
room.
listening to what the communication is between the
Yeah.
teacher and the musician
Yeah.
to inform how they're going to execute an exercise
Yeah.
in class.
Yeah, or I'll just say to the teacher, "Oh, are we going to go into the second side?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I'm unsure of the tempo for the first side, I'll just be like, "How was that tempo?"
Yeah.
Or I'll even ask the dancers as one of them walks
Yeah.
by or something, "Is that tempo all right?" Because I think I've got it, but then just want to, confirm.
But like going back to Andrea's episode, when he was standing next to the piano doing an exercise, you'd look at him and go, "Is this right?"
Yeah.
Oh, he was very helpful, wasn't he? Sometimes.
No. Why he was known as the assistant.
Oh my God. We had this teacher. We had no idea what this teacher wanted for each exercise. And I was feeling nervous what to play. And I look at our best friend, Andrea, and he would just kind of indicate me
Yeah.
like a teacher that, what music is going to suit. And I was like,
But it's, I mean, especially if you're a less experienced teacher, don't be afraid to go away and before you come to class to practice how you're going to deliver what you want.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's in your own bathroom, just pretend that you're practicing and say it out loud for yourself so you can hear it, or record yourself doing it. I mean, we said it a long time ago, didn't we? It really helps you to feel more confident when you actually have to come to do it. It's like a performance,
Yeah.
really.
This goes well with number 5. Thou will mark as clear as possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're not mind readers,
no.
you know.
Sometimes when I've done it myself, when you've worked out your exercise, and there's a little transition things, and you haven't really focused on how much it takes to do that, and you realise halfway through, oh, it's not going to work. So you think, if I just fudge it, maybe somebody will help me. And that's why we love our pianists, because often they do, and you think, oh gosh, why didn't I think of that before? That's perfect. Yeah. And it's them, it's your pianists that have helped you.
You can follow the podcast team by visiting the social media channels. Search for Ballet Piano Podcast on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter for up-to-date information and content about the podcast.
Number 6.
Oh my God.
Can't be Butch, can I?
I'll stick the EQ on it, love, it's fine.
Can you make me sound like Brian Blessed? Anyway, number 6. Thou shalt not clap and shout over the music.
Yeah.
Right. For this one, if I'm doing stop time for something and then the teacher claps, but they're not in time with the music, that really gets on my nerves. It's like, because you've asked, especially if the teacher's asked for stop time, but don't go like this. Completely out of time. It doesn't work. You're ruining it for everybody. You're not getting your lesson objective. You're not getting there.
I'm going to defend teachers here, because I've had this chat with a teacher that likes to be very vocal over the music. And he always says he feels like he is like just bringing the room together, making sure the dancers are on the music. You know, like clapping to keep the music and the dancers together.
I think David has something to say.
I've just taken a photograph of David and I will put it on the website page, because it's a severe disagreement.
Yeah, I don't know how much I agree.
What's the point of having a pianist if you're going to clap over the top?
Yeah, exactly.
You might as well just have a drummer or something.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are some teachers that music doesn't also make a difference. You might as well have a metronome.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
You know, if you're going to like literally subdivide each beat, there's... you can't subdivide music to 1/32 of a crotchet. It doesn't work. You've got to go. That's not music. Music is about the phrasing. It's about the flow. It's the emotion. It's the experience of listening to that.
It's not a mathematic, is it?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
So what was it about clapping? Sorry. I mean, like, okay, for me, clapping.
It's distracting, isn't it?
I suppose it depends on why. It depends on why you're clapping. If you're clapping because the musician's tempo and things is all over the shop,
then, I get that.
Yeah, then that's
if you're just adjusting a tempo.
Yeah,
From a teacher's perspective, I understand that.
But I mean, I'm not just talking about us three. I know there are other pianists. It really gets their backs up. Yeah. And I know it's caused arguments in some ballet studios. You know, speaking to other pianists and then other teachers. Some pianists won't stand for it.
I don't like it on the frappe when it's the petit battement bit, and you go into balance, it's petit battement, and the teacher will just sort of walk around and go like this. Shut up! I'm running my fingers into the bloody bone here to play something fun for and to make this work. And I'm definitely articulating what I don't.
Chris, take a drink. Take a swig of drink.
The only time the teacher clapping made me laugh was that I was playing this like a lyrical adage in the center, and the teacher was very, 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 very cross with the student that they cannot be on the music. Yeah. And she shouted to the student that, there's a beautiful, beautiful music, you're not listening, and they were still ignoring. And she somehow managed to find this a stick to open the window, it's a really long one. She just found that from the corner of the studio, and she went to that stick and just came to the center of the studio. But I was playing the adage music, lyrical, and boom, 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 and then the students are still doing adage, and it was funny. So that I was enjoying it.
You could start playing something beautiful like gymnopody, and you're letting every note hang in the air, and then like screaming and clapping over the adage. It has no. Just let the dancers can hear it. Let them feel it. Let them listen to the music.
Yeah.
Anyway, quick, move on.
Before we get libelous.
Exactly.
Oh, that's the dog.
Yep. Number 7. Thou shalt know which version of the variation you are teaching. I didn't do that. Go for it, guys.
Yeah, right.
Floor's open.
Okay, right. If you're teaching a variation, you come into a company or you come into a school, please know which version of the variation you're teaching with the correct choreography and what the cuts are, or at least be able to sing it or know something. Don't look at a pianist and go, oh, it's the Kirov variation. Off we go. That's it, because that doesn't mean anything to us. We might have the score, and also coming up to us with a YouTube. With a YouTube. I sound like I'm about 93. with YouTube on your phone and saying, "Oh, it's this one," doesn't give us anything. Like we need to know in advance, and the teachers need to know in advance that there are multiple different versions and different choreographic variations of most ballets.
Yeah.
So you need to know we need to know which one we're doing.
Look,
Like,
like
to enable us to do our job, we need to know that, ideally in advance.
Do you know that Aurora Variation Act 3, the ending? How many ending do you know?
6.
Yeah. Is it
Because
longer
there are 6
version?
different,
Yeah.
So there's the super long, there's the original version, the slightly shorter version, the medium version, the medium short version, the short version, and the super short version. And it depends on the company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you play the standard one that you think it's correct, and they come to you and they said, "Oh, that's not what I heard."
Yeah, there's too much music. Tell Tchaikovsky.
Can I just ask as well, when scores are marked, is that the pianist's job or is it the notator's job to put the steps on the score?
I think it's pianist.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's always like somebody's
reference
version.
point,
Yeah.
yeah.
It says like ending somebody's version, and there's those sort of scrabbles and
Okay.
things. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like, if you work in a school and you've got 3 or 4 different teachers, you'll have 3 or 4 different versions of the same piece of music with different scribbles on each.
Yeah. Yeah. And even like speed, sometimes like medial section is one version like becomes a lot faster, but the other version is a lot slower.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know which version you're doing.
Like, for example, like I would write on a score like no rel for DY, no rel for David Yow in this particular version. But then that's my version 2 of the score. Then for version 3, somebody else might want a rallentando, so you could have different versions and be adaptable, but know what you're doing.
Okay, number 8. Now, we stole this from David. Always be patient. I think that's just a good life lesson, isn't it? Be patient, be kind.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hazel's got a little onesie that says "Be patient and be kind."
Does she?
Yes,
Aw.
she's 3 months old now.
She knows.
Yeah, she knows. She's on it.
Oh.
Oh, we're a human being, aren't we?
Yeah, same. Same as David's commandments.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just get it wrong. And if you're inexperienced, you just need the teachers to be a bit patient.
Yeah.
We've all said this. We're so grateful for the teachers that let us make all those mistakes when we started. You know, if it wasn't for those teachers, because you only sort of learn by doing the job.
Exactly. We've all got
So
to
you
learn
wouldn't take
somehow,
on a
so-
high profile gig if you didn't think you could do it, and you
Exactly,
make your mistakes. You know, where someone will let you, which is
Yeah, we're
amazing.
very grateful for everything.
yeah. Thanks, Andrew Wilson.
Thank you, Yoko Ichono.
Who was yours?
I don't know. Already syllabus music?
So technically, Jonathan Still.
Yeah.
Number 9. Oh, this is a good one.
You sound like you're shocked you've just read it.
I've just written it as well. Don't get hung up on time signatures.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah. Just sing and vocalise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Demonstrate
Don't-
and vocalise.
Yeah.
It's
Don't come up
easiest.
to us and say, "Oh, this is going to be a Scottish shuffle 2/4," and then go off and mark a 6/8.
Yeah.
Don't just save that
Yeah.
time. Go off and just
Yeah.
vocalise and mark.
Yes.
I mean, we don't really want to go down the time signature route, but I get the
No.
difference between a 6/8 and a 2/4 for a jump. I think that's one of the instances where a
Yeah.
teacher can say, "Can I have a 6/8 or a 2 for jumps?" But for things like, "Oh, can I have a 3/4?" that's a huge big rondolegro, and it's actually, look at the score, it's written in 6/8.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like the saraband, for example, people think that's a 3/4, but it's actually a 3/2. So don't really get hung up on what the actual time signature of that tune is that you want, because how it sounds to a dancer is completely irrelevant. You know, we've talked about this briefly. So yeah, don't
that's
really,
in terms of counts as well. It's like a polonaise is written in 3/4, not 6/4. So it's three.
Yeah.
You know, yum ba ba dum bum ba ba dum, 1 and a 2 and a 3. It's not for a musician the way it's written. And
they say
notated.
teachers will say 6 because it's actually a 6-count
the phrasing,
phrase.
yeah.
They want a 6-count phrase as opposed to an 8-count phrase.
Right.
Which is,
But
was it Jonathan still? I think maybe I'm misquoting. If I am, sorry, I'm very sorry, Jonathan. But he said, like, speak to us in dancers counts, because then that's the language that we have in common.
Yeah,
as an
it is.
experienced dance musician,
Yeah.
and then pianist for class, we know what your counts are.
Exactly.
And then you know what your
exactly.
counts are, and then
Yeah.
this is like, it's a bit like us trying to speak French. Like,
Yeah.
we could maybe get by in a very basic conversation, but it would not be understood.
Yeah, we all can recognize the dancers counts for this, so that's better. Yeah.
Just sing to us.
Yeah, and when we say sing, I mean, we don't literally.
But
if you're not confident about singing, literally singing.
I mean, Ness and Dormer's really good, Dave. Your Ness and Dormer is fantastic. La 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 la.
I'll break some windows with that.
La la.
Chris, do you remember our favorite teacher who had the most beautiful whistling sound? Like a Disney.
Roberto Almaguer. Yeah.
Yes. And he whistled through the swan to choreograph.
He could whistle anything.
Really?
It's like a Disney sound, you know. One
He
of
was
those.
like a Disney princess whistling.
It was beautiful, and he just whistled through the adage music.
Oh.
It was
Wow.
beautiful,
His
wasn't
whistling was
it?
amazing,
Yeah.
I had a teacher say to me once recently, "Oh, I need some different tunes to sing in class." I was like, just sing the ones you know is the time signature that you want, or the feel that you want.
Yes.
You know, Loipa's been singing the same tunes for 60 years. We know what she wants when she does it.
Exactly.
You know, all the best people just sing the same tune.
You know,
The teachers don't need a repertoire of karaoke hits, do they?
But you know what? I want to know what the obsession of ballet teacher of hornpipe. It's just hornpipe all the time, isn't it? I think they're obsessed with hornpipe.
Oh.
I don't know.
I've not been asked for a hornpipe for a while.
But even if they don't ask, they mark with hornpipe,
Oh,
don't
I
they?
see. Right. Well, they just want a 2/4.
Yeah. So
Right.
I'll turn it into a reel or a hoedown or
Yeah.
A rodeo.
rodeo.
Yeah. No, but I mean, just for a teacher, all you need to do is either count the counts in the rhythm that you want, or say the words in the rhythm that you want, and your pianist will do the rest.
And if you said it, let's say it's a 2/4 that we've been talking about, like laughing and joking, a hornpipe 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. If you set that if the pianist then plays a reel, it's the same feel. But then you're gonna you could turn it into a and swing it slightly. Yeah, there's so many different ways. There's so many different ways, just and then being adaptable to that.
Yes. Yeah.
It brings the fun to the class.
Exactly.
And especially towards the end of the class,
You need a
the
lift.
climax. Yeah.
Shall I move on to number 10?
Finally.
Positive feedback is useful.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, teachers will say, "Oh no, I don't want that. Do something else. Oh, I don't like that. Can we try this? Can we try that?" And actually, when they land on something they actually want, it's useful to know.
Yeah.
You know.
But just to know what sort of music this person likes.
Yeah, exactly. What to play and what not to play on their tastes.
I think I've said this on the podcast before. There's a colleague of ours in the Western Hemisphere who was improvising something, and he finished the introduction, and the teacher, "Oh, I don't want that." So, how do you know? He's like, "I'm improvising. I don't know what I'm going to play yet." So you don't know what you're going to get. He's like, "No, I don't want that."
But, you know, a teacher that I work with in the week as well, he will say to me, "Oh, do you know this?" And actually, if I don't, I've got the iPad.
Yeah.
So I can quickly just find it on the iPad. And I think, okay, well, that's the sort of tunes he likes. And Scribd suggests other things like it. So then you build your repertoire around about tunes that you know that teacher likes.
Yeah.
And then you just avoid the things that they don't.
Yeah, so we can customize it for you.
Yeah.
But for teachers, be open, because your pianists are probably very experienced with what they do, and so just trust them. Really, we said that before.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come up with a better, version of than what's in your head for something.
Sometimes worse.
You will.
Dreading going back to work.
Is that it?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Gosh, you've done really well.
We have. Well, over the course of 2 episodes, we've done 20. That's it. Right. So join us next time when we don't know what we're going to be doing, but we will be doing something absolutely fantastic. So it's going to be goodbye from Matt.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from David.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye from Akiko.
Sayonara.
And sayonara from Chris. Goodbye.